Hopefully,
You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. I'm raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What's good, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boyz, where we talk college football with real fans. I'm Mello. That's Sean. He looks frozen. He probably is. He was just wearing a little clown headgear, and it froze his computer, I guess. But welcome to the show. Today we're going to have Gareon Conley coming on. Unfortunately, times got mixed up in terms of Eastern Standard and Central Time, so he won't be on until 7. So until then, we decided, since we didn't do a call-in show yesterday, or not so much a call-in show, but join the show, we're gonna drop the link down into the comments and into the chat and have you guys jump on. We could talk about what you guys want to talk about with Gareon Conley. We could talk about the team. We could talk about Oregon. We could talk about anything you want. So that's what we're going to do for right now until Gareon comes on. So let me go ahead and drop that down here. How you doing, though, Sean?
doing great. How about you, Mello?
I can't complain, man. I'm super excited for when Gareon comes on.
Me too.
One of my favorite DBs ever.
He's part of BIA, baby.
Yep. I got so many questions for him. That's like one of my favorite teams. That's my second favorite team after this past team that just won the Natty. Personally, where do you rank that team?
That's one of my. I say at least one of my top 5 teams, for sure.
No, you have to give them a number. You can't do top 5. That's
5.
a top
5.
You got them at 5.
Well, favorite team. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
I go back a little bit longer than you you do. So I mean, the 98 team and the 96 team. I mean, those were two of my favorite all-time Buckeye teams. And even though they didn't get it done,
I'm a Buckeye fan. And my aunt graduating from Ohio State, and I actually got to go to the shoe for the graduation. I was like in 5th grade, so that was what, 95. And ever since then, I fell in love with Buckeye football, and that was always my team forever. So I say the 96 team is up there as one of my favorites. I would say that's my second favorite. No, this past year is my favorite. The 2014 team is my second favorite. Then I would say the 96 team, and then 2003.
See, the 2002 team, that's my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I meant, 2002.
2002, then this year, I would say 96, then 98, then 2014.
So I said the 98 team, 98, 96 team for Matt. Robert said 98 team. Karis, I'm with you. 2024 is definitely the best team and my favorite. I think they take both.
That's my second favorite team.
I don't think any of our DNs will get past Orlando Pace, just being honest. They'll get no sacks, no pressure. They just be stonewalled.
Nice, Dennis.
Dennis dropped 1968. Unfortunately, I don't remember that team, Dennis.
But that had Jack Tatum on it. That had them super sophomores. Rex Kern.
Where's Jack Tatum from?
Jack Tatum is from New Jersey, I believe, isn't he?
Yeah, Jersey boys. You see where I'm going with that, right?
Yeah. He came out. I mean, Lou Holtz was the one that actually put him at safety. He was a linebacker, and he transformed the safety position, honestly. So
you talking about Lou Holtz, the Buckeye hater?
Yeah, he was He was Woody's assistant back in '68. It was his idea to put Tatum at safety, and that transformed the safety position to what it is, these days.
Yeah. Yep. So what else is up, man? What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? Football.
What's on my mind?
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, how about this is the third not one, not two, but the third lawyers that the team up north have had to get for this nothing burger. I mean, talk about being desperate. I mean, thought nothing was going to happen, guys. You know, there was nothing to worry about. I mean, first two lawyers tell you guys are screwed and you guys don't want to take the punishment. Now you're on a third lawyer trying to settle.
Neil said 69 team wasn't bad. They lost to UM both years, though. Okay, so we got a guest on.
All right.
You might know him. We definitely know him. He's a fan favorite. He's always in all the chats. He keeps it lit, man. The dude's a gangster. He just retired from the military. His wife's in the military.
I know.
Wait, you know what I'm saying? So he's a bad hombre. You do not want to mess with this dude. Welcome to the show, Tyler.
Oh,
Tyler!
What's up, Ty?
Good. I'm great.
Man,
Great
I like
to see
that
you.
hoodie, though, man.
Thank you.
That's a nice one.
Did you get the hat
What's
too?
up,
to match
man?
it?
What you
Yeah,
up to
I got
today?
the hat too.
You got the hat too? Nice.
Yeah.
They were
What you up
sold
to
out.
today?
Just went to the gym.
Mm-hmm. Me
Did
too.
Did you trash talk any Michigan fans? Because usually every time you tell a story, either it's at the grocery store or it's in the mall or somewhere, you always run
I
into a
didn't run
Michigan
into
fan.
any today.
Really?
No.
That's good, man. I'm surprised there's Michigan fans down there. Tell them they're a long way from home.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad.
So what's on your mind, man? Football wise, what do you think about?
I want to talk about how this man Tez Johnson, for all the I gave him that man respect for actually being saying, "Hey, Will Howard, you giving him a handshake after the Rose Bowl," but then after in the combine, just was like, "No, we we won by skill the first time, and then the second time." Making up excuses, and then he runs a 4.55 at 154 pounds, which is embarrassing as a wide receiver.
Yeah, that is embarrassing. I'm gonna be honest. But the thing with Tez, if you look at Oregon and how they used him, the system was perfect for him. So Tez is more shifty. He's more about changing direction. He's not going to be a straight line burner. So that's why you saw Will Stein's whole game plan get the ball out of Dylan Gabriel's hand in 2 seconds or less. So it was a lot of bubble screens, a lot of screen action, a lot of slant plays. So for that, it worked because he's real hard. If you're not going to press jam him, he's gonna eat you alive, and he's gonna look elite. But my thing, a lot of people still think he's gonna be productive in NFL. I don't.
No,
Because what they're gonna do is take a nickel and they're gonna press his ass, and he's not getting off that line. They're just gonna jam him. He's not gonna be doing the same things he did in college to these elite NFL players. I just think, honestly, I think he's a glorified practice squad player. He might 3 to 5 years in the league and he's out of there. Not for long. NFL, baby.
I think he might be able to return some punts, but
Do you know what's even more sad?
What's that?
You know what's even more sad?
What's
Jawan Jennings for my 49ers runs a 4.7, and he's a wide receiver. And the man, I don't know if he's just if he had a terrible day at the combine. I don't know if it's just he just doesn't have straight lane speed. But if you're running just the same speed roughly as some linebackers in the NFL or some defensive ends, I don't see how productive you're going to be in the NFL. These guys are just as fast as you, if not faster.
Yeah.
But,
see, that's where I'm at. What about you, Sean?
Some guys just know how to get open, though. I mean, there's some guys that aren't the fastest guys, but they run great. They run great routes. They know how to get separation. I mean, a lot of times these combines, people, they train for it. There was a linebacker out of Boston College 1 year. He knew every drill they were going to do, and he just concentrated on training for those drills, and his numbers were out of sight. And the Philadelphia Eagles spent a #1 draft pick on him, and he became one of the biggest busts in NFL history. And he goes, all I did was just practice. He goes, I knew what drills we were going to do. He goes, I trained for those drills, I mean, a lot of these guys, I just don't think the combine. I mean, it can be important, but I don't think it's the end all be all. I'd rather
Yeah.
watch the game film and see what people do when there's bullets flying at you, live action. What
So
does someone do?
that's my thing. What I'm doing is forecasting. I think DCs are just going to take a big nickel that's super quick with fluid hips, that's also fast, that's about 195, 205, and tell them to jam him at the line.
Yep.
He's not going to get out off the line. So how's he going to run his routes? So that's also how we said we should have defended them the first time we played them. But I don't know. They came up with some wacky game plan the first time. So, like, I just don't see him being productive. Like, what you're saying is all true, all facts. What Scoochie is saying in the chat about speed has nothing to do with route running, all facts. But elite route runners are not 154 pounds.
No.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. But I don't know if he just hasn't eaten. Like, I know some, like, when you want to put on muscle, you want to make sure you eat more during the day. You want to bulk more. But I don't know if because he looks like he hasn't eaten in a month.
Well, he says he eats all the time. He just has a super high metabolism.
Metabolism.
I mean, there's some people out there that's like that. And I mean, naturally in life, a lot of people would love to be that way. Just a lot of normal humans. But when you're a football player, it's kind of counterproductive. So for him, he can't really help it. I'm sure Oregon has top of the line facilities, top of the line nutritionists and dietitians. And I'm sure they had him on a immense amount of calories. He just burns it. He just burns it right through. So, I mean, it's kind of hard for him to gain, obviously, because he's 154 pounds.
Man.
And think about it. I want to know what he's weighing during the season when he's actually running. Because when did we end their season? We ended their season over a month ago, which means he hasn't had to train and run as much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you figure he rests a lot more and try to pack on some extra weight. For him to only be 154, what was his playing weight? That's my question.
But I mean, is it honest weight? I mean, because people lie about their weight and height in the programs all the time. I mean, I know in high school we used to do it too. I mean, I said I was 6'7", 245, and I was 6'6", 225 if I was lucky. So I mean, I used to have that problem where I'd eat a lot, but I still couldn't keep the weight on. So I would burn it really fast too. So
yeah.
See, I don't know if that's his playing weight or not, because Deebo Samuel, we just cut him from 49ers, and he just got traded to Washington, and he's out of shape. So he weighs like 230 pounds, 240 pounds.
Yeah.
it's like a bowling ball, man.
Debo's he's a specimen.
Yep.
Like, they don't come like that all the time. You know what I mean? So I got a question, Tyler. Do you have any questions that you would like Gareon Conley to answer when he comes on?
Actually, I do. So my question is, how does Gareon Conley think of all the stuff of, what does he really think of all the Michigan stuff that's really been, does it really stick in his craw? Knowing that he played for Ohio State and the other team disrespected the rivalry.
Yeah.
Does it stick in? Does it really make Ohio State, the players and the coaches, more upset?
Yeah. We'll ask him that. We have something along that lines anyway that we're gonna bring up to him. But I want to give it away before, because I don't know how many people know this. You have to be really like embedded into the deep history to know some of the stuff that we're about to ask them. So it'll fit right into one of our questions directly.
For sure.
So what do you think of the upcoming season?
This Texas game is going to tell us a whole lot about this team.
Mm-hmm.
I expect Julian to be like, if for what we've been hearing, Julian's going to be the next CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah, but-
that does happen, we can expect similar results to last year, but just this team is an offensive-led team, unlike last year, which was a defensive-led team.
Yeah.
Can people please just remember, though, it might take him more. I mean, he's not going to be there the first game, hardly. At least I don't think he's going to be, at that level the first game. So we might have to give him a couple games for that offense to start really clicking.
Yep.
So I just don't want people to like jump down his throat if they come out a little slow out the gates.
Who else started off slow though?
CJ did. I mean,
Yep.
if you look, against Oregon, that wasn't a great game.
But here's the thing, though. He threw for 400 yards in that game, too.
Yeah.
That defense really let them down because they couldn't
That
figure a
defense
way
was
to
terrible.
They couldn't figure out how to stop a slant route, and they just kept running
They
over.
couldn't
and over
stop
again.
an outside zone to save their lives.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That was on DC though.
Nightmares.
Yeah.
Kerry Combs, man.
Tyler, I got a question for you. Who do you think will be the first Buckeye off the board for the draft? Who's the first one to get drafted?
Josh Simmons.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's who I think too.
You both think that?
That's the most
Who do
important.
you
One of the
think?
most important positions.
I'm gonna go between Donnie and Jack.
So who would, if you were to choose, who do you think would be drafted first?
Between those two?
Yeah.
That comes down to need at that point, but you never can have too much pass rushing. So if I had to guess, and how historically the draft usually goes, it tends to lean towards defensive ends over guards. So I'm gonna probably assume Jack is the first one off the board.
But are they going to look at Donnie as a tackle?
No,
Yeah.
they're not.
And the
He's
problem is with
playing
guard.
He's too
Guard,
short.
guard usually guard is kind of drops down to second, third round. It's rare for a guard to get picked high in the first round. You have to be really special.
I think he's going in the first round.
I think
I
Quinn
think Donnie's
Nelson.
going in the first round.
I think Quinn Nelson was the last guard that went like in the first 10 picks.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's probably the best guard in the NFL right now, but guards usually don't go in the first round because they're not considered one of the top positions. Left tackle, quarterback, D end, corner. Then you got your wide receiver, your game changing wide receivers.
That's another sleeper. Emeka could be the first one off the board too, just as easily.
So I got a
just think
question for
Simmons
both
with
of you.
Shoot.
I don't know how to ask this, so give me a minute.
Yep.
So, if we replicate what we did in last year offensively, do you think that this team will be better than last year's on defense because we're going to be when we're up by so many points and the defense doesn't have to play so tight and it has to because you're now ahead of they get to pin their ears back and we're going to be more of a pass rushing defense this year on the front line. Do you think that the pass rush is going to be more effective this year than
Last season?
Than last season?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think we have actual DNs that's what they do. They're pass rushers. There are typical DNs. They're more speed rushers than power rushers. And also Jim Knowles is gone, right?
Yep.
So the cage rush is also gone. And you can hear in the combine little subtle stuff like during the interviews and the pressers and everything when they're talking to Jack and JT and they're talking about the production. They're like, yeah, we want to show that we're going to keep working on our speed rushes, but like basically they asked what was the difference between the playoff and the regular season. They're like, we were allowed to rush more. So remember how wide they started off? It was because they're so worried and concerned about QB runs and RPOs. And then once they moved them in more, that's when the defense looked a lot better. They moved Caleb Downs position-wise, and then we started getting more pressure and collapsing the pocket. So salute to Jim Knowles. You're always going to be a Buckeye legend, but shout out to Matty P, and I'm so glad that he's here. That's it, you know.
Then they let him do stunts too, man. They started stunning more. I mean, it just wasn't vanilla anymore. It wasn't that, like you said, that cage rush. It wasn't conservative cage rush, and when the offensive line knew what they were going to do every time. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, didn't give your guys any chance for success.
So this is why I asked that question. This is why I asked that question, right? Why did Jim Knowles why was it so hard for Jim Knowles to understand what this defense was, their strengths were, and actually exemplify them and actually use them to their best ability instead trying to pigeonhole them and try to fit a square peg in a round hole for this defense and not putting them in the best position to succeed?
I think that's a complex answer. You got to think about where he came from, Oklahoma State, not the same level of talent. So it was adjustment for that. That was the first season. Second season, they were going too hard and blitzing too much. I cooked. So then Coach Day told him to stepped it back. Then this season, he's kept it back, but he wasn't using them how they should be used. And him and Larry Johnson were butting heads because Larry Johnson wanted his Nick Bosa, his Chase Youngs back, you know. And after the Oregon game and that debacle of a defensive game plan, Coach Day stepped in. And he was like, look, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And then Jim had no choice but to do it. And he also said, don't give up big plays. So they had to, him and Larry had to come to a compromise and come up with a game plan. And they're both two brilliant, intelligent people. It's just sad that it took them this long to get to that point, you know. But do you got any final words? Because I'm going to bring in another fan favorite after you.
No, I'm good.
All right, thanks, man.
Good seeing you, Ty.
All right, OH.
I.O., buddy.
Everybody, welcome to the show. She's Buckeye royalty and also a member of the Buckeye Boyz. What's going on, Mika?
Hey, just wanted to pop in, see if this works.
Oh, yeah. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. So how's your day going?
Pretty good. We've had Rufus here pretty much in and out all day, so busy day.
Yes. So are you excited about Gareon Conley coming on?
Yes, definitely. Dude was a dog.
Yeah, he was, right?
Yeah. Can't believe he's retired already.
Yeah.
Must be nice to be able to retire at that age.
Right?
Wish I had that kind of money, but he deserves it though.
Yes, he does.
His first contract was insane. He signed for like 10 mil with $5.5 mil signing bonus.
And what's crazy is in high school he was a great receiver too.
Yep, he sure was.
That's
a question I want to ask him.
Yeah. Did you see Donnie's interview today?
No, you sent that to me, but I was running around with my daughter and trying to cook. Can you tell us about it?
He did a little speech about what being a Buckeye means to him, and I got a little teary. He's such a great guy. I hope he does well in the NFL. I think he will. We got so many great guys on this team, it seems like. high character guys that really care about other people in the program outside of football.
You know, that's one thing Ryan Day does is he not only recruits great players, but he recruits great people. And you
Yeah,
only come to Ohio State if you fit in with his culture. He will not take those guys that, get in trouble or, risks. You have to fit the culture to come here. And I applaud that about Ryan Day. And that's why you see we don't have any arrests or anybody getting in trouble. These kids they're not
nobody,
only good, they're good people. I mean,
nobody trying to do Fast and the Furious or anything
yeah,
like that.
Leave it
yeah.
up to us, Georgia folks. We got that under control. Don't worry about it. But no, seriously though, Ryan Day, they from a cultural standpoint, they recruit a certain type of kid and a certain type of family to be a part of the culture. So I mean, honestly, if you look at the people we've been interviewing, all of them are so similar in terms of upbringing, character traits, and how they view life in general. So, I mean, obviously, it's working. He found a blueprint to continue to make sure that Ohio State is always successful, not just on the field, but off the field as well, and in the community and in life in general. So, I mean, Ryan Day's doing a heck of a job. And if you look at how he kept this room together, his program together last year through all the turmoil, through the death threats, and the win a natty. That's why I personally believe Ryan Day is the best coach in America, and I wouldn't trade him for any coach, not Kirby, not Dan, not Sark, no one.
Oh, I definitely agree.
I mean, like I've told people, if there was a culture problem, that team would have folded after that Michigan loss. That would have
Yep.
completely would have imploded. Everybody would have been, fighting each other. People would have been, jumping ship. And there just would have been a big blame game. And that team would have fell apart. And we wouldn't have went on that run.
And that's the thing. If you watch the combine interviews, every single one of those players, one of the first things they mention is the brotherhood and how much they love their teammates and how real that bond is. People don't think it's real, they think it's talk. I really truly think it's truthful. You can tell they really care about each other and what happens to the program in general.
Right.
That's true. Because look how many players come back every year. I mean, there's a lot of guys always coming to the training camps. I mean, to the spring practices. I mean, players are always coming back. I mean, former players are, and always, giving just telling these kids, spreading the word to them, coaching them up if they need to, or give them some advice, or just coming back to visit. I mean, it's awesome. You don't see that many other places.
That's the one thing I hope never changes about college football. I mean, I like the NFL too, but that's the great thing about college football. You really can tell which players care and which players are just there to get to the NFL and get paid.
Absolutely.
No
So,
doubt.
is there anything else you want to tell Buckeye Nation?
No, I just wanted to pop in really and see if I could get on a live show and get it to work. I'm glad it worked.
We are
Mika, I'm
too.
so happy that you came on. Seriously, it made my day.
Thank you, Mika.
Cool. Great show, guys.
Everybody, this is Mika, the recruiting guru for the Buckeye Boys. She knows everything. If you're in the chat, you got a question, especially about any Ohio kid, I guarantee you she knows it.
I'm blushing. You
That-
can't tell.
The two we always, hey, if I got a question, I always call Mika and I ask her, "What do you think about this guy?" And should we try to have him come on the show? I've asked you about 3 or 4 guys, and you've given me the lowdown. So it's real. Mika is the recruiting guru. Everybody.
Well, I try.
And Mika, everybody loves you. Buckeye Nation loves you. I hope you know that. Like, you're loved. I don't know anybody that doesn't love you.
You are like the
Well, I
favorite.
love Buckeye Nation, so the feeling is entirely mutual.
Absolutely. You ready for August 30th? That's
Yeah,
what I got to ask you.
so ready.
Yeah, because I'm buying 2 tickets. Me and you are going.
Awesome.
That'd be
I'm
awesome.
serious. I'm not joking. We're going to the game.
to clear it with my parents first.
Well, get to clearing it because I'm buying the tickets.
Sure, I'll try. See what I can do.
All right, OH.
I'll
Later,
like,
Mika.
share, comment, subscribe, guys. Let the channel grow.
You heard what Mika said. Listen to her.
We building this thing. It's gonna be something
Yes.
great.
All
You're
righty,
the best,
Mika.
Mika.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
Have a great
Bye.
night, Mika.
See ya.
And now another Buckeye Boys member is about to come on. Let's see what she has to say. Hey, Kron, by the way, you could come on here. You could hide your camera. You don't have to put your face up here, so that way you don't have to stand on business. But at least come up here so we can hear your voice. I wanna debate you, my brother or sister, whichever one you are. Feel free. But everybody, welcome the world famous Big Mouth from the Midwest, not the South. She's a gangster at heart, and she will put you in your place. TG, what's up?
Yo, what up,
TG.
y'all? How y'all been?
Awesome.
What up?
Good. What you up to?
Oh, nothing much. I'm just back at my house.
Yeah. So what's on your mind,
Mhm.
TG?
Well, I do want to start with this Will Howard, the slander he's getting, because I don't understand any of the slander he gets as far as how bad he's done at the combine, as if he's the only quarterback that did. Because if you go back and watch the combine literally full of other quarterbacks, there are some who are doing just as bad, if not worse than him, but yet he's getting the slander. I will never understand that.
Because he's Ohio State. That's why.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's people slandering him in our own fan base.
I don't think they're real fans, in my opinion. Plus, we've had people in our fan base slandering him for the longest.
Yeah, and it's some big time people, you know what I'm saying? Talking about they don't want him to their team. He's undraftable. They don't think he's an NFL quarterback. Okay,
That's a lie.
then if he's not an NFL quarterback, no one is. Like, he led the country in
Right.
completion percentage and QBR. If that's not an NFL quarterback, nobody is. So what? We already know he takes an adjustment period to throw to receivers. That was the same thing here when he first got here. So why would you think he's going to go to the combine and just destroy it with kids that he doesn't know? And he's used to.
Honestly, I never thought that. I never thought that. Even with CJ Justin and them, I didn't think they would destroy it at the combine. Honestly, I always say, never ever in a million years, if you're a quarterback, throw at the combine. Just wait till you get to wait to pro day. Wait to the end. That's your biggest advantage.
Yeah, that seems right. I mean, now it's looking like Shador and Cam Ward made the right decision, because imagine if they went and they had the same thing. Then they're going to be like, there's no undraftable quarterbacks. Like, what? But Will Howard's the only one undraftable? Like, get out of here, man. You got smoking crack.
Yeah, exactly.
If EJ Manuel, Christian Ponder, Blake Bortles can all get drafted in the first round, there's no reason why Will Howard can't be drafted, because he's light years ahead of those three guys. And those guys were first-round draft picks. So give me a break.
Yeah, they got people.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I see it.
They got people talking about Milroe is going to get drafted higher than him. What? Why? Because he could throw a deep ball? That's all he could throw. He can't throw any other pass.
He's not accurate either.
Yeah, no, he's not. As anything, he's worse than Will. Just watch the tape.
Yeah.
And he didn't do well at pro day either himself, actually.
He didn't do well. Quinn Ewers didn't do well. A lot of these, the only one that I thought did well was Jackson Dart, who for me,
yeah, that's what I see it.
I think Jackson Dart, and I've been saying this, is QB1 in this draft. And the Giants need to not get all hyped up over Sanders' last name and go ahead and get Jackson Dart. Just like I said, they shouldn't have got Saquon Barkley. They should have got Josh Allen. I was telling all my people that. I didn't tell the Giants, obviously, but, I mean, it was so obvious. We needed a quarterback. Josh Allen was slinging that thing. If you watch his pro day, he destroyed it. I'm talking about bombs. He can make every throw in the field. Jackson Dart could do the same thing, except he's also fast, too.
I mean, they could have drafted Josh Rosen. That really would have been. I mean,
yeah, that would have been
Daniel
something.
Jones, you know. So I mean,
yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this: I take Daniel Jones over some of these guys. They're good. Like, I take Daniel Jones over Jalen Milroe. At least Daniel Jones shows in some capability he can throw the ball.
Man,
like, literally.
I'm sorry. I'm so happy he's gone.
I know you hate him, but between him and Jalen Miro, which one would you rather have?
Neither.
I'd rather have just
No, you
direct
gotta pick
snap
one.
to
Yeah, that's what I kept saying. That's what I kept saying. I kept saying to myself. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I said it to myself before. Is that when people are talking about Will Howard, I will never understand. Again, well, no, I do understand it because we seen CJ, Justin, Dwayne. They all get this kind of hate before the NFL draft. They're the only ones who get talked about for being like bad quarterbacks, which is crazy when you think about it.
The only thing is Ohio State's never really had that quarterback, really blossom into a star quarterback in the league, and that's why everybody keeps throwing that in our face. And you know what? Dwayne would have had a chance if he would have been drafted in the right system. If the general manager and the coach were against each other. And Justin, if Justin goes to the right freaking program, he'll be great.
I mean, as long as he just didn't go to a dumpster fire of an organization. You don't go to a dumpster fire. It's the worst thing for a quarterback. It really, really is. It is the worst thing, whether you know it or not.
Absolutely. You have to have a support system. And I mean, you can't have a new OC every single year and expect a young quarterback to be successful.
And you can't no doubt. Life. I mean, I think when the Browns played Justin Fields in his rookie year, they sacked him like 6 times in the game, 6 or 7 times.
I thought it was 9. Him. That's how bad he looked to me. It was a little like 9 times they sacked him, and it was so bad. But it's like you can't blame Justin. I mean, the dude is surrounded with a terrible, terrible, terrible offensive line. He really is.
Myles Garrett was having a field day. I was at that game. I'm just like, I felt bad for Justin. Like, poor guy should just just leave.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I said when it comes to Justin Fields, he needed to leave the Bears, or the Bears need to build around him. And it's what I hope with Will Howard is that he does go to like a good team. That's what I hope, to be honest.
Yeah.
I hope that with Will Howard, because I don't. Oh, hell no.
Who's your team?
Actually, I had a couple favorite teams, but my main team was the Kansas City Chiefs. But for the whole, the refereeing that was really ticking me off. Because even I don't like that. I'm like, okay, y'all can win without the officials' help. Like, why are y'all getting scapegoated with this? Really? Like, I love y'all as a fan, as a Chiefs fan. Yeah, I love them as a Chiefs fan. Always have. No. They've been my favorite team since I was a kid. I was always rooting for them. I think it was some, I remember back, I can't remember, but I forget the quarterback name. Was it Chase Daniels? It was some quarterback that got me. I think it was Chase Daniels who got me into watching the Chiefs, because they were always like an exciting team for me to watch. Yeah, they were like really exciting for me to watch back then, and it was super fun. I'm like, man, I hope this team one day win a Super Bowl. That's how I always was. But I also did have like other teams I liked, but they were always my main team.
Man, I think I was waiting for you to say Eli Manning, and you was a Giants fan,
Hey, I loved Eli. I'm not gonna lie, I loved Eli. I did. Yeah. I loved him and his brother. I didn't like Tom Brady before I found out he was a Michigan guy, and I said, you know what? I still like him, but if he wasn't a Michigan guy, oh my goodness, dude. Let me tell you something. I would have been cheering on Tom Brady like no tomorrow, but I hated him just because of the fact you're affiliated with Michigan. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, what cracks me up is the Michigan fans hated him. They tried to run him out of town. They wanted Drew Henson as their quarterback because he was a star Michigan high school quarterback, and they wanted him to play over Brady. They booed him.
Yeah, imagine if Tom Brady was an Ohio State quarterback, man. We would have been supporting the heck out of this guy.
Absolutely.
That's what's crazy.
Tom didn't come back for like 20 years. I mean, he was so upset with the way he got treated.
I mean, he should be, because imagine that too. Like the one quarterback you got that's great, you boo him and you hate him for so long. But then when he goes on this legendary NFL run, now you want to act like he's yours. Okay.
Well, they made him split snaps. They platooned him. I mean, how crazy is that? You're making Tom Brady in the first quarter share series with a freshman kid who's the Michigan hometown superstar, kind of like the way Bryce Underwood's being celebrated right now. They made him split snaps with him.
So let's talk about that now that you brought that up. What's your TG? What's your thoughts on Bryce Underwood? The type of season he's going to have? Is he even going to take snaps under center for the team up north? This question goes for both of you. So, do you guys think he stays with his commitment, or do you think he hits the transfer portal?
I think he's the transfer portal.
Why?
If he doesn't, he's just there for because of the sanctions, clearly. Now, if he doesn't, it's because they're paying him even more money. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, he'll take it before leaving. But even if he does stay, I don't see him taking a snap because I think he knows his career will be, like, his development would get screwed up because Michigan got no top-tier receivers. They have nothing. They don't have development. Goes back to what I've been talking about before about how you need coaches to develop players. They don't got that. So I don't see him taking a snap. If anything, I can see him leaving by this spring or next year in the winter, just so that way he can like take his money and go elsewhere.
I think it's
for
all
real
go
development.
I think it's all going to depend on when the sanctions hit. I mean, I think he might stay the first year just because maybe the sanctions is late to come, and he can't leave. But
hold on,
I mean,
actually, he could leave.
Yeah, the sanction drops. I think they could leave. They don't.
I think,
yeah, they can. They can. Like that's why.
I mean, with like the schooling and stuff, I thought the semesters got to line up, or
well,
if he's
the
going to sit out a
sanction's supposed
year.
to drop at the latest in July. So I mean, fall semester doesn't start in most places until August or September.
Yeah. So if I had to see that he would transfer, I would say after the spring portal is closed, because with the NCAA, they made it known that if a school gets sanctioned in the transfer portal, if it's closed, those players can transfer, but the school itself can't get anybody out of the portal. So like the portal closed for them, but not for those kids if the sanctions hit.
Right.
If the
Just
portal's
like them.
closed. Yeah,
Think
that's why I
about
said
them,
I
though,
think the
what happened
NCAA. Yeah, that's what I would say. This is why I think the NCAA would, and I literally mean would, absolutely deliver the sanctions right after the spring portal. That's what I think is going to happen, because they know they will screw Michigan, and they want to. I said that on this show countless times. They want to screw that program.
Yep.
When does the spring portal open?
It makes me smile. Like, so hold on. I got to ask you this, Sean. I already know TG's opinion on this. The world knows TG's opinion on this. So, Sean, if they, after they're done with dropping an atomic bomb on Ann Arbor and nothing is pretty much left, it's just desert ghost town, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, with the vacated wins of the last 3 seasons, if they continue that and they take away or unrecognize the natty, and then the CFP decides to unrecognize it because the NCAA did, and they're going to be in alignment. I know Team Up North fans, it's hard for them to contemplate that scenario, which is what's going to happen because the CFP already said that last year before they went to the playoffs, right?
Yep.
Will the Team Up North's blue blood status be in question? Because if you think about before these previous 3 seasons, they were like basically Nebraska. They weren't doing anything. They were trash. So if you take all those wins away, they drop back down under 1,000 wins, and they don't have a natty to show for it since they split a natty.
97.
Are they still considered a blue blood? That's the conversation that needs to be started. And I don't just want to hear, I want it everywhere, all over the podcast world. Like, we need to have this conversation. It's a legit conversation to have. And can you lose your blue blood status? Is that possible?
I don't know if that's possible. I think they would still be considered it because of the history of the school. And you know what? Nebraska's been struggling very long time too. But I just think because of the history and what they were before. Now, will they have any respect by anybody? No. Will it be considered a joke? Yes. But they'll still be considered a blue blood. But I mean, if you look, what's going to be the future of their program? I mean, it's going to be, very hard times for a long time. I mean, it'll almost be like the death penalty that SMU went through. And this was the first year, and since SMU got the death penalty, that they had a winning team, a great team. I mean, made the playoffs. I mean, that was back in the mid 80s when they got nailed with the death penalty. So look how long that took for them to recover from that. That's why usually NCAA will never do another death penalty.
Interesting. I mean, would they not do another death penalty? I mean, because if they smash them to smithereens, vacate all those wins, gives them postseason bans multi-year. Is that not essentially the death penalty?
No, because the death penalty, they weren't allowed to be on TV. I mean, they were getting no income coming in. I mean, they really destroyed SMU. And if you look, I mean, Penn State was almost on death penalty watch, but they were at least allowed to be on national TV and get TV money coming in. SMU weren't allowed to be on TV at all.
Got you. I guess what I'm saying is, with the punishment, will the damage be? How long will it take for Team Up North to recover?
Problem is, you get that. It was when they are finally allowed after postseason bans. What kind of NIL are they going to have? I know everything's going to be revenue sharing, but you're still going to have, where people can get NIL deals if they got, where they can make big money there. If they got, one or two big boosters behind them, they might be able to, buy their way back in, but that'll be hard to tell. I mean, that's a pretty big if. Some kids might not want to go there because it'd be such a disgraced program. No one will want to be associated with it.
I don't know if kids actually think that way this day and age. I think what happens is they'll be so far behind the 8 ball, because you got to understand, other schools are not going to stop spending. Other schools are not going to stop, going after these elite kids, and their NIL is going to be up as well. Do you think that Team Up North donors, this goes for both of you, TJ, you could jump in too. Do you think the Team Up North donors will be so disgusted and so finally accepting the wrongdoing that they're going to stop donating?
I have no idea. Probably not, because every bit is scumbaggery at their program.
They're so arrogant.
In my opinion. Pretty much.
They still think they did nothing wrong, most of them. I mean,
yeah.
Honestly.
And it's so laughable, because when I do think kids would, here's what I'll say. I think kids will go to that program for like a year, not play, and then transfer, only because they know they're getting money out of Michigan and they can pimp them out of money. I've already said it before. Like, you can literally pimp this program out of money because they're going to be that kind of desperate.
Yeah, I mean, they're already there right now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is look at Bryce Underwood. Like, you guys, like I said, he's not staying. He'll probably stay for the money, then leave. But he's not going to play. I don't even think he wants to. Not for this program. He'll be, especially because before the regulations come in, he's going to milk them for as much money as he can. Then he'll leave and he'll go to LSU, and LSU is much better at developing quarterbacks than Michigan. So he'll go there, he'll get developed, and then he'll probably be a solid quarterback in the NFL, because he knows he's not going to get it at Michigan. For the most part, he's going to get it at, LSU or anywhere else, because he's been talking trash about them since day one.
So, TG, I know you're young, but Mr. Gareon Conley is about to come on the station. Do you have any questions that you want to ask him, or you want us to ask him?
The question on what you got.
Huh?
Oh, no, go ahead.
I don't know how old you were back in 2014.
I was still in elementary school, I think. Finishing my 5th grade year, going to 6th.
So do you have
I remember the Natty
that you want me to ask?
Yeah, basically, I would actually say that, given the fact he was part of the 2014 team, I would want to know his experience in the locker room during their run. That's what I want to know. What was his experience? How did he feel? And how did it feel when the Natty going through all that adversity?
Got you. Well, thanks for joining. You got any last comments for Buckeye Nation?
Nope. All I can say is go Buckeyes. OH.
I-O.
So, without further ado, this is what everyone's been waiting for. The main event, the legend, the OG. Welcome, everybody, Mr. Gareon Conley. How you doing?
What's up, man? How y'all
What's
doing?
going on, Gareon?
We're good.
Good,
It's
man.
good seeing you, man. How you doing? How's your day going?
I'm good, man. It's been a busy day. I just got
Yes,
done
sir.
training. I do personal training out here in Houston. So it's been a good day for me, though. I'm blessed.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you because you have Conley Island, right? That's the name of your school.
Yeah, it was my LLC, and then I turned it into basically like my business for training. Just turn it into Conley Island training.
And you're based where at Houston?
Yeah, I live in Houston.
Okay, so
I got traded here in 2019.
yeah.
Stayed, and I ended up getting a house. Met my fiance, had our baby. So
So you like it out there, basically.
I love it out
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
It's different than Ohio?
Yes, for sure. But I do miss the food. I do miss some food in Ohio, like pizza and stuff. There's no good pizza in Houston.
Yeah.
There's great food out here though. But
Yeah, you got that soul food out there.
yeah, soul food, barbecue, Mexican. My fiance,
So
I get real Mexican food. So
right.
I love
I got a question. Like seeing how you're based out of Houston,
Yeah.
did you ever have any interactions with Devin Sanchez? He's a 25, the number one DB in the country.
My stepson, I didn't have any personal interactions with him, but my stepson's last game was against North Shore. So I
Okay.
watched him play, and I seen that he was a legit corner.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. What do you think about him, his game?
Yeah, no, he's a legit corner, and I've watched a lot of football here, and I can say Texas football, like obviously what it used to be, like it used to be dominant and different. And there's schools out here that are still really good, but I think it's overrated now. Me being here for 5 years, I can say
Yeah.
that I'm in, and I've been helping with 7-on-7 tournaments. There's a big tournament that we had this past weekend, but I can say it like it's not the same as what it used to be. Like, but watching him play, he was a legit corner. Like I liked him.
Now, I
Yeah.
want to ask you a question. You came from Massillon, correct? You played at Massillon High School?
Yeah. Yes.
Now that's one of the most well-known in Ohio historic programs. How would you compare Ohio high school football to Texas high school football?
That's what we have a lot of debates about that with the kids that I train. I actually took them to Ohio for a week this past summer or last summer. We went to see Ohio State, and then I have my camp at Massillon every year, free camp, and they got to compete against the Massillon kids and whoever came from Ohio to the camp. I know last year, the year before last, I took my stepson, and there was a lot more kids from like all over Ohio. This year it was like just kids from Stark County, I think.
Okay.
But we talk about it all the time, and I feel like the difference is obviously football all year round. Like out here, they got spring ball. Like literally, that's what colleges do. We don't have that in Ohio because it snows until April. And then they have 7-on-7 all year round, damn near. I think 7-on-7 just really started this year in Ohio. Like obviously, we had the 7-on-7s against the schools in the summer where we had like 2 games, but they're actually 7-on-7 tournaments every weekend. I'm actually helping coaching. And then even the Little League, like out here, like Little League in Massillon used to be really big. It kind of faded away this past year and the past 2 years, I think. But like I'm training, so I train my stepson's high school, and all the kids I train, the high school they go to is like right in my backyard. So I train at the field a lot. And we're walking to the field, and there's like balloons, there's food trucks, snow cones, pavilions, there's banners of kids, like how you get your senior picture banner like on the stadium.
Yeah.
Banners of kids on the fence. And I'm just like, it's music blasting. I'm like, what's going on? They like, the kids are looking at me, they're like, it's homecoming. I'm like, homecoming for what? It's like Little League. Like, I'm just like, what? Like, that is crazy. And
Wow.
at first I was just like, if y'all have homecoming for Little League and y'all be ass when y'all play football in high school, like, I'm like, that shit was crazy. But I'm like,
That is crazy.
that's the difference really from, I mean, I've never been to Cali. I mean, I've been to Cali, I lived there, but like I never seen high school football there. And in Florida, but I'm not sure if they have stuff like that. But I feel like that's the biggest difference from Texas. It's just like it's from when you're literally little until you grow up. Like kind of how Massillon is, but it's Texas. It's not just because like in Ohio, like football is big, but it's just like there's not a lot of schools like Massillon like this. When you're born, they put a football in your crib. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Like that's all around Texas. And then you got the facilities, you got the nice fields, you got trainers everywhere. Like I know there's a DB trainer within 15 miles each direction out here. So I think the resources and then football all year round, that's the biggest difference. But as far as like skill wise and talent, like I don't see much of a difference. Obviously there's more people in Texas, so they're gonna have more talent and more people with offers and all this stuff. But I mean, you look at the stats, like Hall of Famers from Ohio or people who made it first round or drafted or all this stuff, like we always have numbers in Ohio. I feel like we're just underrated because we're not as big as other states. But I always tell the kids all the time, like Madison will come down here and whoop y'all ass. St. out here and whoop y'all ass. Like I tell them all the time. But I also feel like because of all the resources now, that's why it's changed, because this generation is kind of entitled already. So them having everything, I feel like they don't have the hunger that Ohio kids have. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the biggest difference. But I'm always gonna say Ohio football is better. That's just
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you said you're helping with 7-on-7 team. What team are you helping with?
Thoroughbred Sports. It's
Okay.
my good friends, my homie Roland Seymour. His son is a quarterback in the 2026 class. He like 6'5", I think.
Dang.
Quarterback. Roland Seymour went to Florida State, I think early 2000s, he said.
Yeah.
He won like 3 natties, I think, or they won like 3 natties.
Dang.
Whatever. And he went to like 3, something crazy. I know he just like went when they had that run at Florida State.
Yeah.
That's when he went to school. But it's his program, and I just help out. I don't even like 7-on-7. I hate it. But
really, why?
Help out. It's just, it teaches bad habits. It's not real football, the rules. But I just try to look at it as in a sense of how can I make it beneficial for the players? So like, I train a good amount of the players. So I was just like, it only makes sense for me to help them, help coach so I can be there and make sure their technique is still good while they're playing and they're not falling victim to the regular 7 and the hype and all that stuff. It's good for you to get your feet and learn route recognition and stuff like that, but it just teaches so many bad habits, and it pumps a lot of kids' heads thinking they're something when it's like, man, these pads ain't no, man. Like right now, like the rules are like if you catch the ball. So like if I catch the ball for a second and like you hit it out, they're gonna call it complete. Like that's not real football to me. Like 3 downs, like it's just a lot. It's just too much for me.
Gotcha.
But I still go and I still help out.
Still helps the kids with their technique. Still, they still get live, reps.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Like you can get reps, you can get one-on-one reps, you can get coverage reps. I'm teaching them how to play coverage the right way, not just playing. Oh, I'm in cover 3, so a corner I just back up and play deep. Like no, we're gonna match routes. Like so, that's really why I'm doing it, to help them understand.
Nice.
So we got a question from one of our audience, Buck Vader. He said, Gareon, how has the cornerback position changed since you were playing?
I mean, I feel like it got harder.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Because, man, these receivers, like, look at Jeremiah Smith. Like, come on,
yeah.
Man. This true freshman, like, I mean, I'm biased, but I mean, I feel like a lot of people like, man, he's league ready right now. Like that's different. But there's a lot of guys that are just sprouting, and like kids are like 6'4", 6'3", running 4.3s, 4.2s. They learn how to run routes. Like I feel like 7-on-7 is beneficial a little bit more towards wide receivers, as far as like getting recognition and all this stuff. But I just feel like these athletes, not even just the receivers. I feel like the D-line, like all these athletes are just freaks now. So I feel like it's just harder now as far as the skill level. Like you got to guard guys like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Like it's just a lot more. But I feel like that's what it's supposed to be. That's the evolution of sports. Like even the NBA, like there's so many more guys that are capable of being elite that I feel like the standard now, it seems like guys aren't really that good when actually it's just a lot more people that are good, you know. But as far as like the position itself, I don't think much has changed. I mean, it's getting harder and harder by rules because it's an offensive game. The rules are against the defense a lot, but I don't feel like much has changed. Just the
But we're
skill.
not going to gloss over the fact that you put Tyreek Hill in handcuffs and Antonio Brown, two of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
So, one of my questions along that line is, who was the hardest cover that you had to go against and why?
Antonio Brown.
Why is that?
I tell people all the time because the way he gets into his route, like he gets into his route so quick, and it's so hard to get your hands on him. And it's just not like he's just fast. He knows how to run routes, and he's quick, and he just has like a lot of energy. I would say Tyreek Hill's up there too, but as far as like routes, I don't really see Tyreek really running routes. He's just running deep, open, and then if he gets the ball, he's explosive. But it's like Antonio Brown is a complete package. And I went against him, and I practiced against him. And I tell people all the time, like, I probably had over 70 reps, maybe 100 reps against him, like as far as adding up the game and practices. And I probably got my hands on him like 5 times. Like he's got like touch. Like he gets into his route so quick, it is just crazy. But I feel like he's the best I ever guarded for sure. But I do feel like a sleeper that is Amari Cooper. Like I feel like he could be one of those guys like Antonio Brown if he really put his mind to it. I just feel like he's not as consistent, so it doesn't show. But he's one of the hardest guys I had to guard as well.
You ever guard OBJ?
No, I never went against Odell. Never went against Odell. Never went against Julio. Never went against Devontae Adams. Those are 3 I wanted to go against and never got the chance to.
AB is a beast, though.
Yeah.
And you did a heck of a job on him.
Appreciate that.
How about Calvin Johnson?
Oh,
sorry.
Man,
no, go ahead.
I already know. Different breed.
Yeah, he's a freak. So I want to go back up a little bit to before you enrolled to Ohio State, you were committed to enemy, the team up north. You know you're not escaping this question. So how did that process happen? How did you end up committed to the team up north? And then what made you flip your commitment to the good guys?
Yeah. So it's crazy because a lot of people don't know the full story. But it's really like I'm gonna start off with why I did it. It was literally because they threatened me to pull my scholarship. So I was literally like I was being petty and I just wanted to go to Ohio State to beat them at first. And then obviously like the visits and all the stuff happened. I ended up like liking it and wanting to go there. But that's initially why I wanted to go. I was just like, man, they threatened to pull my scholarship. Like I want to beat their ass.
Hold on, who threatened to pull your scholarship?
Team up north.
Okay.
Oh.
They had like a no visit policy or something like that, I guess. But so I don't know if you guys know who Jeff David is. You know who Paul David is? Paul Brown and Paul David were like partners, I guess. You know Paul Brown, right?
Yeah. We know Paul Brown.
The Bengals.
Yeah.
Him and Paul David, they're either like partners or coaches. It's something, I don't know, something along the lines. But our indoor is named after Paul David. So Paul David is Jeff David's dad or grandfather. I'm not sure. Jeff David is the guy who basically built the indoor at Massillon. He funded our uniforms and all this stuff. And his son was our kicker. My senior year, his son was a freshman. He was our varsity kicker. And basically, he was a Michigan alumni, Jeff David. So I'm assuming that he brought them to Massillon to recruit. That only makes sense. It's like they never really came to Massillon like that. So I guess he brought them there, and they wanted to offer me after my junior year when I played good at corner, my first year ever playing corner. And that was the biggest offer I had. And, you know, recruiting, when you come on a visit, they try to get you to commit. And I wasn't even a football player. Like, I was a hooper, never heard anything about college, didn't know anything about it. So when I went on a visit, they're showing you everything. They're telling you what you want to hear. They're trying to get you to commit. My family is new to this too. So when they're like, you want to commit? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to commit. What I thought I was supposed to do. So
yeah.
And then obviously once you get an offer like that, like and I had Northwestern, but it was like once you get that offer, it's like your name starts buzzing. So now people start to talk to you. So of course the recruiting started to pick up. My quarterback at the time, his name was Kyle Kemp. He was committed to Cincinnati, and I wanted to play offense. So Cincinnati was like, if you come here, we'll let you play offense and defense. I'm like, bet. So I didn't even want to go there. I just wanted to go on a visit. And he was like, let's just go on a visit. I'm going up here. It was like 2 weeks in advance or something like that. But long story short, I was going to go visit Cincinnati. Ohio State had started recruiting me at the time. And then Michigan, I think it was Greg Madison. Yeah, Greg Madison at the time was recruiting me. They thought that I was going to go visit Ohio State. So it was just rumors like, oh, he's going to visit Ohio State, blah, 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 which I was really going to visit Cincinnati. So it was just rumor stuff. And Greg Madison called me, and he's like, you don't want to go to Ohio State. They're a bunch of liars. You don't want to go up there. It's not a good program. They're going to make you a bad player, all this stuff, like just trying not to get me to go there. But also told me, like, we have a no-visit policy. We're going to pull your scholarship if you visit there, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, you threatening me? Like,
Oh, wow.
I waited for him. I didn't even tell him on the phone. He usually comes in like every other week, and he just comes and checks on me. So he came in on his little checkup, and I waited to see him in person, face to face. And I was like, I'm decommitting from here. And he was like, oh, why would you want to do that? Like, you don't want to go up there, I promise you. And that whole time in my head, I'm like, I don't even want to go there. Like, I've talked to Luke Fickell one time to that point. And it was literally like a conversation. It was like, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Nothing else. They didn't even tell me they were actively recruiting me, nothing. Like, so I had nothing to do with Ohio State but the fact that I talked to Luke. And, of course, once that happens, rumors go out like, oh, Ohio State recruiting Gareon Conley, whatever. So that's why I ended up flipping. And then I ended up actually not even going to Cincinnati to visit. I ended up getting recruited by Coach Meyer and Coach Vrabel at the time. They came to my rival game against McKinley. And then that weekend, I want to say after that or 2 weekends after that, I went on a visit to Ohio State, and I just loved it. And then I ended up committing there. So that's how that story went.
What was it like being recruited by the legend Urban, who I think is the second greatest coach all time after Nick Saban?
Well, yeah, I would say the second. He didn't have a long career as him. But it was an honor to play for him, one, but to even be, I tell him all the time when I see him or talk to him, like, I just appreciate him believing in me. To be recruited by him. And I feel like the difference of recruiting at the time, because Brady Hoke was a coach at the team up north, I feel like the reason why I wanted to go there, I like a challenge. So, like, Coach Meyer, he just, like, he wanted me, but it was like, we want you if you want to come here, but I don't need you. Like, that was his way of, like, recruiting. Like, he's going to tell you, we're going to win here. Like, it's going to be hard, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't like the team up north, they're just telling me what I wanted to hear. They're soft, they're laid back. Like, I just didn't want that for me because I know I'm the type of person that knows, like, if somebody's going to let me be lazy, I'm going to be lazy. Like, that's how it was at the time. So I knew I needed someone to push me. And just the energy that I had from Coach Meyer recruiting and talking, like, it was just, I wanted to go there. I wanted to be a part of greatness. And I knew, and that's what happened.
Well, you probably couldn't be lazy with the room that you guys had with Denzel Ward, you, Arnett. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore was in there too, Hooker. I mean, the guys that you had in there, you all were dogs. I mean, my gosh, nobody could sleep.
We had Bradley Roby too when I came in and Durant.
That's BIA for real.
Yeah, I redshirted my first year. I was a 4-star. I thought I was the guy going to be the starter, and I went in there and I was like, oh shit, like you aren't the only athletic guy in America.
So that's that. What was your I have a 2-question one. Do you feel like you guys are the OG BIA? Your little room. Do you guys think y'all started BIA and made it what it is today? And where everybody's trying to carry the legacy? And also, what was your welcome to Ohio State moment where you came and you realized, oh, it's real?
You saying my room as in my last year there, or you saying?
No, when you first got there, do you think like
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like it, but so I don't even know if people understand like where BIA came from. It was Coach Combs that really started that. Kerry Combs.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he did it the first year, but I'm not sure. I wasn't there. Their first year there when he came with Coach Meyer, the reign went 12-0, 2012.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he did it that year, but I know my freshman year when I got there, that was just how we broke the huddle. Like it was just BIA on 3. Like that's how we broke the huddle. And then Coach Combs is just always like that's how he said it. He wanted to coach All-Americans. He wanted to have All-Americans, so he wanted to be best in America. And then Roby ended up being All-American corner that year, and then that was the standard. So I feel like, I mean, that's just when I came into it. I don't know if they did it the year before, but that's when I feel like it was established that year. And then we just knew the standard because Roby said it, and then we followed after. So
I feel like I could call you OG BIA then. Would I not be wrong? I'm not wrong. I feel like that's appropriate.
Yeah, I respect that.
So what was your welcome to Ohio State moment?
I had a lot, I ain't gonna lie. But my first one was the dynamic warm-up. So I went, mind you, States in Ohio is at Jesse Owens. So I ran in States, and I made it to State for the 400. I got toasted. I wasn't even my race. Shouldn't even have been there, but I ended up making it. I ran that Saturday, and I started class that Monday. After I just moved right into my dorm. But we did the dynamic warm-up. So it's like the warm-up we do before every workout. And it's the same warm-up we do before practice, but in pads. And when we did this warm-up, it's like 30 minutes of just crazy, just plyos and running. And it's just a whole bunch of stuff. I still do it to this day. Like that's our warm-up for the kids that I train. But we did the warm-up, and I feel like everybody there, you can ask anyone that was a freshman, we all thought that was like the whole workout. We thought it was practice. And he was like, all right, we're going into the weight room. And I was just like, what you mean? I thought we were done. Like, that was like my first welcome to college Ohio State moment. I was just like, yo, this shit is real. But then my second moment was training camp, my first training camp. First practice, I don't even know if he knows this or remembers this. Carlos Hyde, they did a toss to Carlos Hyde, and I was a corner. And they were saying thud tempo. Mind you, thud tempo is literally wrapping up. So a guy running full speed with the ball, the only way you're going to get him down, and I'm a 165-pound corner, only way I'm getting him down is if I really tackle him. So they say thud tempo. If I go tackle him, I'm the freshman. I'm getting kicked off the field if I try to tackle this dude. So yeah. I just was like, fuck it. I go up, I try to thud him, he just run my ass over. I'm just like, everybody, you know, yo, like, god damn. So that was like my second moment. But then it was like that led into just training camp in general. And it was just like training camp was so hard. And I called my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm quitting. Like, I can't do this shit. This shit is too hard. Like, I'm dead ass. Like, I called her and I told her, I was like, I cannot. This is too hard for me. I already wasn't even like, I played 2 years of football. Like, I played in 8th grade in my sophomore year, but it was just like, I didn't really take football serious. I really only had 2 years of football. And that was just like, I'm just like, man, I'm not built for this. Like, so Coach Combs had a meeting with me the next day. And he was just like, man, it's hard for a reason. Like, just understand we're on you because we care about you. Like, we're not yelling at you and getting on you because we just don't like you. It's because we see potential in you and we care about you. And if we didn't care, we wouldn't say anything. So that kind of helped me, and I respect him and love him to this day for that meeting. I always remember that. But after that, I was good after that. But that was my welcome to Ohio State moments.
But there's one moment at Ohio State that you really, your favorite moment, what would you think it would be?
My favorite moment?
Yeah.
I feel like favorites and worst things are like hard to say. Like, there's so many things that were like, man, that was bad. And there's so many things that was like, man, it was amazing.
You can pick out a couple.
I would say, obviously, winning a national championship was one of the greatest feelings ever. I would say My first start, like me, and it's crazy because my first start was a really bad day, but I think that's what molded me into the player I became. I don't know if y'all remember the game against Michigan State, 2014. We
Yeah.
needed that win to get into the playoffs. That was the first year of the playoffs. And Eli Apple was hurt. And mind you, Eli was my best friend. Me and him were roommates for all 3 years that he was there. And we were battling for the starting spot that year. And he ended up getting it. And I just played special teams the whole year. And Coach Combs and them, they kept telling me, like, you're going to get in, blah, blah, blah. And I just kept not getting in. And I kind of figured, we don't rotate corners. So I just kept preparing, like, I'm going to play. I kept not playing. So, of course, we get to the Michigan State game, and I don't prepare. And then right before the game, Coach Combs was like, you're starting. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, right before the game, I'm starting. Like, he's like, Eli can't go. And I'm like, oh, my heart dropped to my ass. But long story short, that game, I got beat on, like, the first 3 plays. It was a scoring drive, touchdown, and I was just in my head. Eli ended up coming back in, and he just played hurt the whole game. We ended up winning. But that moment, it was just like I knew I had to prepare the way I was preparing before that game, and I knew I wasn't going to let that shit happen to me again. So that was kind of like one of my worst but best moments in college because it was my moment. And then I would say, like, the whole season of, besides the last game, the way it went out, my last year, 2016, like, that defense, I love that defense. Like, I think that whole year was just my best moment at Ohio State for sure.
So what happened in 2015, man? You guys are supposed to go back to back.
Offensive coordinator.
That's what I heard, man. I heard. So I don't know if you know him, Zach Smith. He has his own little podcast, and he was saying the OC was horrible.
Yeah, terrible, man. Like, he should. Everybody knows. I would have rather had Zach as the OC. I actually thought he was going to be the OC at that point, but he wasn't, and it was just bad after that.
Yeah, man, that broke our heart. I don't really like talking about that year. I'm gonna be honest, because as a fan, it's still painful. So I can only imagine how it feels for you.
Oh my God. That was my first year starting too. I'm just like, man, we're about to go back. Like, I'm the starter now. Like, I'm playing. I was doing well. I'm like, we're going back to the Natty. I'm just like, no, we're not.
That was crazy, man. That was insane. So, what do you feel is the most important? Someone requested this question. What do you feel is the most important skill or character trait to have to play the position of DB and be as successful as you were?
Resilient. You got to be resilient. I tell the kids I train all the time, it's mind over physical. Like, corner, you can give up one catch and it could ruin your whole day, your whole game. Like, and it's so hard because you want to stop every single play, and it's not gonna happen. Like, it may happen one game. I don't think I've ever had it happen to me where you just stop every single play. But that's obviously, you're a competitor. Like, that's what you want. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, you got to be mentally tough. Like, you got to play the next play. And even with the best play, the bigger play that you have, like, you got to play the next play. Because if you just sit back and think about, oh, I made this play, that's when you get cooked the next play. And that play could be the one that defines the game. But I just feel like that's the thing. Like, it's being ready for every single play and playing the next play. Because every play that you have can change or make the game. Like, it don't get no bigger than that. Like, and I feel like going back to that earlier question, like, that's a little bit as what changed as the corner position. The way it's looked at is if you get interceptions, like, you're just this amazing corner. And it's like, nah, it's not like that, bro. Like,
right.
I was telling the kids this too, like, I'd rather have no interceptions and hold my guy to 20 yards or no catches or no touchdowns rather than getting 2 interceptions or even 4, but giving up 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, you lost the game. Like, I don't care about. I feel like that's a little bit look different as far as, like, oh, he gets picked, so he's a great corner. Like, it doesn't. If you can't play man, you're not a good corner.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the main thing, is just being resilient and being mentally tough.
When you When you were playing, did you prefer to press or did you like the zone coverage better?
I was pressed all day. We weren't even allowed to play off at Ohio State. So
Yeah, they was playing single high.
yeah, when I got to the league, I was pressing so much they were getting so mad. They're like, bro, like you gotta disguise, like you can't just press. And I'm like, I can't. That's all I know. Like I struggled with off man in the league because I didn't know how to play it. Honestly, like we press cut splits, we press stacks, bunches, like everything we pressed at Ohio State. And if we didn't press, I mean, if we were running something other than man, we pressed bail. So I didn't do any off coverage, honestly.
Mm.
What was your welcome to the NFL moment? Do you have one?
Welcome to the NFL moment. I don't really remember my moment. I know just like overall, in a sense of, if you could say like my welcome to the NFL moment is just like realizing that everybody's good. Because like in college, you know, you got those games where you play an Akron or shit. Even when I played Northwestern, like I had no targets. Like so, it's just like those games where you just like chill basically.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yeah.
chill, you don't get any action. Like in the league, you can play a worse team and you can still lose because they might have a top 5 receiver or they might have a great quarterback but all those guys are in the league for a reason. Like that's that 1%. So I feel like that was like my welcome to the NFL, like knowledge, like
Right.
you can't relax in the NFL.
So I know you're retired, but do you ever get that itch putting the pads back on?
Hell yeah. All the
Man,
time.
listen, the Giants need a DB, man. We need a DB badly.
You a Giants fan?
Yeah. I'm from Jersey. I'm
Oh.
from the same spot. I'm not that far away from where Eli Apple was from.
Eli.
Yeah.
He tries to say he's from Philly. I'm like, bro, you know he's not, bro. He's from Jersey.
I mean, those Southern dudes, they tend to try to claim Philly. They more Philly than New York. I'm more Central Jersey. So like, I don't know if you know Theo Reddick. He was the running back for Notre Dame when they went and played in the Natty. He went to the same high school I went to, which is in Somerville. So it's like close to Rutgers. Yeah. So it's not that far.
Jersey too, man. I'll be telling him he's from Jersey.
So seeing how you coach, would you ever think about being a collegiate coach at all?
Yeah. I was talking to my fiance about that and a lot of other people actually. I actually applied to like 4 or 5 places out here, but it was just on like online. Some D1 schools out here in Texas, but I didn't want to coach. I'd rather be a trainer because it's like I get to do my own thing and I get to teach technique, and it's not time fixed, and it's not like a person has to be stuck with me. Like if you don't like my personal training, then you can go somewhere else. And I would, if I coach and a guy tells me how to coach my DBs, like we're gonna have a problem. So it's gonna have to be a real good situation if I be a coach.
You know why I'm asking, though. I mean, it's pretty obvious why I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I would definitely take the job, man, for sure.
I mean, because I love OG Walt and he's doing his thing, and I don't want to lose him. Don't get it twisted. But I like that they keep bringing back previous Buckeye legends and to help teach. I think it does 2 things. It helps with the recruiting, and it helps in terms of just you guys already had the mindset of what it's supposed to be, what the standard's supposed to be, what the culture's supposed to be, and how the fan base is. So it won't shock you, even though it might shock you because you never lost to the team up north.
It won't shock. That wouldn't happen if I was there.
So my question is, what do you think is going on with that game besides the cheating from the past 3 years? But last year there was no cheating. But what do you think is really going on?
Man, I think I'm not there. I always say this because I feel like I get this question all the time. I'm not in the building, so I don't know what is going on. But from my perspective, I just feel like I'm not saying the culture is bad. I just think the culture has changed from when I was there. And obviously it's going to change when you have a different coach, players. Like it's going to change a little bit, but I just feel like the culture has changed a lot from when I was there. But also society has changed, right? Like I just feel like society right now is softer, more lenient, not as hard on people, and not even just because they want to be soft or lenient. It's like that's a lot of factors involved, like parents, like kids now, they're entitled. Like it's just a lot of things that go into it. But I just feel like the culture has changed as far as like hard coaching and being on guys and setting the standard, like you said. And no discredit to Ryan Day, but I just always remember it sticks with me. Like I don't know if it was after the game or I don't know, but at one point he said in an interview, he was like, "This game doesn't define our program," and in my head, I'm just like, "Yes, the fuck it does." Like you literally talk about it during recruiting. There's literally a clock in the weight room. There's literally a clock when you walk in the door to count down to play the Team Up North. We do Team Up North workouts every Thursday, which I don't know if they still do, but we did Team Up North workouts every Thursday. We have a clock in the weight room that counts down. When you walk down the hallway where the trophies and stuff are, there's another clock. And it's like, obviously, the ultimate goal is to win a national championship, but there's no national championship clock countdown in the building. So why is there a Team Up North that does define our program? You know what I'm saying? Like, we talk about it as soon as we get in there as freshmen, like what it means. We have to understand what it means. We have people come back and talk to us about it. We do the band stuff. Like we have a whole tradition. They X out logos, M's everywhere, all over campus. We put the logo and toilets in the facility. Like it's that. If it didn't define your program, it wouldn't be that big, bro. So it's just like, and I'm not saying he meant to say it or meant it that way, but it's just like that's what stuck with me. And it's just like the culture has changed as far as stuff like that. And like you said, like if guys are in there that understands the standard and the culture, it would be still replicated and represented to them and taught that way. And I feel like it would be that important to win that game. Because even if Michigan stinks like this year, like the game doesn't matter. It's going to be like we're both 12 or 11 and 0, like when we're playing. Like it's 1-1, you know? So I feel like.
So how do you think the 12-team playoff has changed the rivalry game? Because I think a lot of it for outside looking in, if you didn't win that game, you couldn't accomplish all your goals, right? You couldn't, no Big Ten, no Natty. So now with the 12 team, you can see the team lost, but they fixed what they needed to fix, and they just obliterated every team in the playoffs. So how do you think that's going to affect the importance or the relevancy of the game from here on out?
I mean, it's what they make it and how they make it. Honestly, I feel like it can affect it in different ways, but I don't know. I do feel like now, not even just with the Team Up North game, I feel like just in college football alone, the playing field is different, and there's more teams that are capable of beating. I feel like everybody's capable of beating everybody.
Yeah.
So college football has just changed overall. But I actually like it, though, because it just makes it competitive. It doesn't, like back in the day, like SEC used to be real dominant. And then it was like that era where we were dominant, Big Ten. And then it was like SEC, Big Ten are the only two. And then it's just like ACC started to creep up in there. And then it's like now anybody can beat anybody. So I just feel like overall college football has changed. But I like the playoff system. Like I think it's
so my last question for you, and I'll give it over to Sean if he has any other questions for you. Can you speak to the brotherhood that everyone's talking about when it comes to Ohio State and the football program, and how real and true is that brotherhood?
Oh man, it's family. The brotherhood is real. And I talk about it all the time too. I talk to my kids a lot that I train. I know they probably get tired of me, but I always talk about Ohio State and the experiences I've had and the brotherhood. And I tell them about the guys like that I don't see or talk to every day. But if I talk to them on the phone, even if I just text them or see them in person, it's like we're hanging out every day. Like we've been together.
Yeah.
Like that's how real the brotherhood is. And then like obviously when you see them, it's always going to be all love. But even just going back, like I took my family and those boys to Ohio State, and it's nothing but love shown. They welcome us in. They show them love and just treat us like we're still there. You know what I'm saying? So it's real. And then obviously even being there, the locker room, like it's just. I remember the girl y'all was talking to at the beginning,
TG.
Yeah. Wanted to know about the locker room. Like man,
yeah.
One thing Coach Meyer always told us, he said appreciate your locker room. He's like, because when you go to the NFL, it's not going to be the same. And I thought about it like when I got to the NFL, like we sat in the locker room at Ohio State after workouts, like getting our ass whooped, like, but just talking, clowning, like getting to know each other for like hours, like almost late to class sometimes, or like being at the facility till 9, 10 o'clock, knowing we got workouts in the morning, like just chilling, talking. Like that's how our brotherhood was built. Because you go through that war with your brothers and you go through that grind with them, and it's just not the same when you go to the NFL because it's like everybody's fighting for a job. Everybody got their own families, all this stuff, their own lives. So I know, like, I was ready to get out of the facility in the NFL, go home.
Yeah.
Got your own life to deal with. But it's like in college, it's like that's all you have. So it's like that's really your family at that time. And then it just sticks. Like you meet real people, you keep them as family. You don't got to be blood.
Yeah.
Do you think if you guys weren't that close that you guys would have been able to get over the adversity that you guys faced in 2014 with all the injuries and you guys still won the championship?
Yeah, no, I don't. There's no way. Like that's the thing. Like it's just like a brotherhood. You trust all of them, and we knew we had to depend on each other. And one man goes down, you step up. Like even with me that year, like I said, I went in the Michigan State game, and I did horrible. But the whole time, the sideline, like the teammates, coaches, they're lifting me up. They're like, "Bro, you got it. Like just stay locked in. Like you good. It's just one play or play the next play." And it's like at that point, like I was the only one that couldn't get myself right, but they were like being positive and everything. It was just like if you don't get yourself right, it's not gonna happen. But with that, the injuries, with JT, Braxton, and then Cardell stepping up, coming in, everybody knew and believed him. Nobody batted an eye when he came in. But even with Costa, like he passed away that year. I don't know if y'all know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like rallying and stuff like that. Like he wasn't a starter or a player like that contributed to all those wins and all that stuff, but he still was a brother for us. Like it didn't matter if you were a walk on or this Hall of Famer of the team. Like you were treated as a brother. You were treated the same. So it was real.
That's good to know. So that I could kind of see a lot of similarities. I don't know if you do as well with this current championship team in year 2014 in terms of the adversity, because that's why for me, Ryan Day, I wouldn't trade Ryan Day for any coach in America. There's a lot of tension going on between the coaching staff that we found out later that was going on that Ryan Day had to rectify. They lost to Oregon. They lost to the team up north. They could have folded and packed it in, but they got the brotherhood was strong enough to come together. Coach Day was strong enough to sit there and let them come at him. He went back at the players, and then they hugged it out, loved it out, and they just regained focus and just dominated. So I see a lot of similarities between the 2014 team and this team. Do you see those same similarities?
Yeah, I mean, as far as adversity, like you can't like measure adversity differences.
Yeah.
Like have their experiences, we have ours. Adversity is adversity. So yeah, I see a similarity in that. And it goes to say like that's the thing about like because obviously the brotherhood of Ohio State is like a thing, but it's like I don't know those people in the building, like that. I know some of them that were there when I was there, but like that's a new team, that's a new staff, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's an Ohio State brotherhood, but they have their own sacred brotherhood. So it's like
Right.
That's why I say before I speak on my opinions of what's going on after a loss or after a win or anything, it's just like I always say first, I'm not in the building, but from outside looking in, that's how I always comment on that because I don't know what's going on in there, and I'm not gonna act like I do. And I know when I was there, that's how we were. Like everything that happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. So it doesn't matter what anybody outside think, like old players or anything. Like we're doing what we do in here. They're not here every day to know everything that's going on. It's still a brotherhood with old players and all this stuff, but it's just like we have our own sacred brotherhood with this team because each team is different. So I respect them in that sense. Like they handled their adversity, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
all shouts out to them.
All right. This is my last question for real though.
Yeah.
That you were an analyst, a coach, recruiter, what would be your best pitch to get the number 1 or number 2 DB to go ahead and commit to Ohio State?
Man, I mean, I don't know. I treat things differently. Like as a recruiter, I don't know if I would be a good recruiter for this society because I would do it how Coach Meyer did it. Like I would make sure I tell the kid I want him and show him like what we do and how we win and tell him that we win national championships here. That's the goal. We create first round draft picks. We play hard, we work hard, but I will make sure it's just like I'm not kissing his ass. I'm not begging you to come here. We don't need you. We want you to come here. Like that's how I would recruit. So I don't feel like, I mean, again, like I don't know, but I just feel like this society is just too soft for me. Like I'm gonna just be transparent. Like you want to come here, like I'm gonna tell you this is what we got, this is what we do. Like we want you. You got a great skill set. Like I think you can be the best. I'm gonna tell you. Like I'm gonna coach you hard. I'm gonna get you there. But we want you. We don't need you. That's how it would be.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming on. You got anything, Sean? You look like you're about to say something.
Bigger rival, McKinley, Massillon McKinley, or Ohio State, Michigan.
Me, bro.
Some of these guys might not realize how big that rivalry really is between McKinley and Massillon.
Like, obviously, bigger is Ohio State, Michigan because of the stage.
Sure.
But I feel like if it was the same stage, like say if Massillon and McKinley were colleges, I think it would be bigger. Like that rival is crazy, man. Like it's nuts. Like that's what I actually went when they had the national championship reunion. I didn't make it to that because I was at the Massillon. It was my first time ever getting to go to the Massillon McKinley game, not playing because I was always playing. So I would go back and play. So I went to that instead of the reunion for the national championship.
No, we really appreciate you coming on and give us your time, and it's been awesome to have you come on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Anytime, man. Let me know. I'll definitely.
Yes, sir. Yeah, legend. We love having you on, man. You and Marshawn Lattimore just locked everything down. That was incredible to watch. It was impressive. It was awesome to be a fan of the Buckeyes. You guys made us proud, and we appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, man. Go Bucks.
OH.
IO.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks, brother.
No problem.
Man,
you took my question.
Huh?
You took my question.
Who did? I did?
You did. I was getting ready to ask him about if he felt the rivalry game changed because of the 12-team playoff. I was getting ready to ask him. You took it. I was like,
my bad. I didn't know.
That's
bro.
Okay. You didn't know. So no.
I really wanted that. We had him on for so long. I really wanted to ask him about what it was like playing with Marshawn Lattimore. Like, what was their connection like? Because, I mean, you think about it, they shut down whole sides of field by themselves. Like, how do you throw in that defense, you know? But I know his daughter seemed like she was ready to go ahead and hang out with daddy, so let him get off here. But everybody, thank you for joining us. We're going to have another good show tomorrow. Tune in. We got something special for you guys, man. I think you guys are going to enjoy it.
Thanks,
Sean.
everybody.
I'll holler at you later, man.
Have a good night, everybody.
Go Bucks. OH.
IO.